Good day everyone. So in today's video we're going to compare 6 different major differences between InMotion Hosting and SiteGround. So many of you have heard these two companies. We have tried it themselves, and they have many functions in place which is different. So without further ado, to begin with, the first thing we're going to cover is their pricing. So if you look at the pricing, the grow big functions in the middle for the SiteGround is costing you 5.95 per month. Okay, and for InMotion Hosting here, for the launch version is costing you around 5.99 per month. So it would be quite comparable in terms of the functionality and choices. But one point worth really pay attention is that it may seems to be a little bit cheaper on SiteGround, but in fact it's actually much more cheaper for SiteGround, because this plan is a 2-year plan. So it's quite cunning buttons over here. You need to mouse over to review the pricing difference. You don't want to waste your time to figure out differences, and this is the first thing. And the second point we want to cover is many people will say, oh, the InMotion Hosting seems to be better in terms of the space storage, because it allow you have a unlimited amount of the disk space. Okay, you see unlimited here. So if you do not expand it, and if you do not open the terms of condition and waste time reading a whole bunch of documents, which in fact I have not done so, but I can tell you in terms of the space size, if you look at the SiteGround version, yet you still have a 20 gigabyte space for the grow big version. But I can assure you, if you do not going to hold some pornographic videos, you do not want to make many photographs in your website in a very high dense situation, I doubt that almost all of your website in terms of this items will allow you to do that with this kind of space. It is already sufficient. You do not need unlimited space, which in fact in our experience we try to set some WordPress automatic plug-in with it, and then it auto crawling some of the information and sending a lot of information, uploading videos and content in it. And what happens is that InMotion Hosting will throttle your space size, and as a matter of fact, if they detect you using the space size for too much, which because they're giving you unlimited space size, which they have an algorithm to detect the amount of space that you are using, they will slow down your website speed. Yeah, okay, and this is quite critical, because you do not want your website visitor to have the speed being slowed down, and this is very important point that you need to consider. And the third point you need to also take into account is the daily backup version. The daily backup version covers many important function features, especially in the 2016 in December. InMotion Hosting have one of their servers malfunction and causing many of their clients database destroyed. So the problem is that if you do not back up yourself using some WordPress plugin or paying the money enabling you backup in the Google Drive or Dropbox, then you will have in a headache. So it says that if you look at the backup, it says a free data backup. Okay, other charges we don't. Okay, you need to pay attention for these so-called data backups. They do backup for you. That's true. That what they wrote in here is true. SiteGround, they do some free backup as well. So what is the difference? Okay, 30 copies or not? No, that is not the difference. The difference is, would you go to the cPanel, and I believe many of you, including me, is not an expert in the algorithm to playing some codes in the backup. Otherwise we will not look into share hosting, right? People will go to the VPS and install the AWS ourselves. So InMotion Hosting, they do the free backup for you, so as SiteGround, but they do not enable you to recover the backup yourself. So you need to send an email to them, call them, and raise a ticket, and wait for them to do the restoration for you. Okay, that's make a very major difference, because imagine if you have a site, live website, and your website is no matter being hacked, or you have done malfunction in it, your partner or your or what happened, or some plugins have causing you to some database corrupt. The least thing you want to is wait another 24 hours for them to do the backup for you. Each, in my experience, you need to wait at least 3 days. Okay, even if you call them, wasting your money to call them and urge them to do so. And while in SiteGround, they allow you to have the 30 different kind of copies, and you can do the restoration yourself. Okay, that's to make your major difference. Okay, the point four is that we're talking about the speed. Okay, the speed is definitely, in my experience, SiteGround is much faster, but to be fair in the comment, we have only tried using the space size for around 10 gigabytes, so we have not tried. If you use more than 50% of the SiteGround given you, whether it will make you website speed comparable to more or less the same compared to InMotion Hosting, we are uncertain about that, so you need to take that in mind. But with you are not running a very big website, not many images with this, just many articles and just 4 to 5 photos in one article, then definitely it's fine for SiteGround for the speed. But we won't talk about the cache. Okay, for cache, we know what is cache is. The cache will allow you to store some of the information from your client browser, so that you do not need to use your own website loading, and save you a lot of resources and the speed of your website. So what we're talking about here is that many, or in fact all, no matter Bluehost, SiteGround, or any other web hosting solution, allow you to use or install CDN just like Cloudflare, or install the caching plugins. But the problem is that they may not have the best integration. I don't want to jump into too technical regarding the PHP limits, and also the MySQL server, the memory size. You need to manually adjust it. But what I'm trying to tell you here is, for SiteGround, they have a super cacher. Okay, for super cacher, the idea is that they make their own cache. Okay, and the caching will allow you to have seamless integration with SiteGround. Okay, that's really critical. I cannot tell you how nice it is, just like I cannot tell you too details about comparing an Apple or Android phone unless you use it and put it on hand and swipe the screen. So I can assure you, you will have a whole new level of satisfaction with the cache with SiteGround. Okay, point 5 is that they have a staging option for SiteGround. So many of you may not aware what is staging. So staging is something that lets you to work in your live website on a separate environment. So what it basically just like a sandbox. Okay, you can play around in the sandbox, in the staging area, make things screw up, not happening very well, and one click and you will automatically create back to your original situation. And with your thing, the setup is great. You can press the one button and it will bam, go to live. Okay, it's similar to what we're trying to say in the XAMPP, which is exactly where you do the things in your local shared drive. Okay, quite similar. And for InMotion Hosting, they do not come with the staging themselves, so you will need to do it with your local drive installation. Okay, and the point 6, the last but not least, is that for what we're trying to say here is that the space we're talking about for 20 gigabytes in SiteGround in here, and also the data transfer we mentioned is unlimited in SiteGround. So in InMotion Hosting, the fact is with you transfer the file for too large. In our experience, if you do it in the localhost and import into the site FTP server, if the file is too large, they will block you into doing so. And this may not be a big deal, but when you're having a medium-sized website which eventually your website will grow to that size, then it can pain to the ass, because then you will need to install a FTP client, whatever it is, file seller or whatever it is, and to migrate the information in a file-based level, but not in a zip file level. So if you have not experienced that, and you think that the zipping a whole website and migrating is still quite fast, then I hope you will not need to try that in the future, because it really pain in the ass. So that's pretty much my 6 key point of the highlighting, and the rest of the relatively most unimportant information to make this kind of company make the graph so big. To see the support and automatic transfer installation is I don't want to say it's bullshit, but it's standard. Okay, it's not something that I need to cover with you unless you have not, just like me, try them all. One point last mention is a bonus, but point 7 is that they're 30 days money back, and while InMotion Hosting have a 90 days they guarantee. So I have not tried to ask for the refund, and honestly speaking, only around 100 and something US dollar, that I do not want to bother with arguing with them. But it's a plus for you, and I think for this kind of size of company, they will still honor their commitment on the refund. So I wish you a happy web hosting, and if you like my video, please show some support to me, and press the like button and subscribe, and see you next time.